Books don't mix with water. A Percabeth alternate universe fanfiction. Part 6. Chiron smiled when he saw his favorite reader. "Hello there, Annabeth," he said with a kind smile. "How was school?" he asked. Annabeth shrugged and she grabbed a book off the counter Chiron was leaning against. "New stock?" she asked, turning it around and inspecting the hard-cover book. Chiron smiled at her. "Yes, came just this morning. I thought you would like it." Annabeth nodded her head, thinking over it. "I'll read a chapter and decide if I like it," Annabeth said, waving her hand and disappearing from the bookstore. She had gone up a staircase hidden from the customers of the store. They were set in a back storage room that only employees entered when very necessary. Annabeth had been living in the upstairs of Tom's bookstore for almost 7 years now. As a young 10-year-old, she had ran from home, and Chiron, who she had already knew well due to her mother's close friendship with him, had taken her in. They lived in the second floor of the bookstore Chiron had taken over a year before Annabeth ran away from home. Annabeth was a very brave girl, a fighter. Life was hard for her. Her relationship with her father and stepmother were rough, and her mother died when she was quite young. Fighting through all that and even leaving her family at age 10 was a huge step, but Annabeth was tough. She could take it. Annabeth heard a ring come from her phone as soon as she reached upstairs of the store. It was from Percy. Big surprise! Barely anyone else texted her, and those who did had a normal ringtone. "Hey, are you free today?" he asked. Annabeth looked at her phone, a little confused, and wondered why he would ask. "I'm open. Why?" she typed out. "Well, I know you don't like the waters and all, but I've got a surf comp, so I was wondering if you want to come and watch and maybe get some ice cream after." Was he inviting her to a surfing competition, realized that water ruined her book, and so offered ice cream to her so she would come? Yeah, he was. But it was kinda sweet that he knew that she didn't love being around reckless waves and loved ice cream. Despite the lack of grammar in his text, Annabeth decided to respond. "I'm in for the ice cream," she texted with a laughing emoji at the end to lighten it. He sent back a thumbs up, name of the beach, and time of the competition. Annabeth set down her phone and looked in the full-length mirror, sighing as she inspected the image. Ugh. Being a girl, society tells you how to look and act and appear, and of course Annabeth didn't fit it well. She had some of the characteristics: blonde hair, light skin, and eyes. Annabeth had a thin, athletic stature, considerably taller than average. However, she didn't fit the girly and dressy look society favored. Today, she wore skinny ripped black jeans with a band tee and flannel tied at her waist. This was not the move to go to a beach. Annabeth threw on a blue bathing suit, just in case she'd get soaked, and with a guy like Percy, she might as well be prepared for all cases. On top, she wore an orange t-shirt and medium-wash jean shorts. Should I try with my hair or not? She thought, gathering her blonde curls in her hands. Nah, that's work. Opting for a simple ponytail. This was not a photo shoot. This was just her to go and cheer on a friend. She didn't need to look all extra for a friend. A friend. That sounded weird. Picking up a beach towel for the rare time that she was going to the beach with her friends when they dragged her down there, and a pair of sunglasses to block the rays. Annabeth went down the stairs and went to her car. "And where are you headed?" Kieran said, with a twinkle in his eyes, like he knew something. Annabeth's cheeks felt pink. "I'm just, heading out," she said, fumbling with her words. Chiron raised an eyebrow and smiled. "With whom?" Annabeth put a hand on her face, feeling the warmth from it. "I'm watching my friend at his surfing thing," she said quickly, walking to the door to avoid any more questions. But Chiron spoke fast and caught one last one. "Would that friend happen to have bought you some books not too long ago?" he asked, a mischievous smile on his face. Annabeth's breath hitched and that gave him all the information he needed, so he waved his hand for her to leave and laughed. "Dang it," Annabeth whispered when she got outside and started up her car. Huron was sure to give her an earful when she got back. "South Pine Beach," she said, when she began driving towards it. It was very crowded. Everyone was very excited about the competition. There were so many talented surfers competing, some looking to snatch the title of King of the Waters, and others, cough cough, Percy, whatever his middle name was, Jackson, that were defending their pre-existing title. Parking her car, Annabeth walked through a less crowded part of the beach. She spotted the sign of Percy's fan club. Most of the time when people say, "Oh, that guy has a fan club," they were using a hyperbole. But when it came to Percy, it was real. Like, there was actually a Facebook page, like fan accounts, even a logo. He literally had a fan club. Some fans were big into surfing, others liked his marine consciousness. But most of them were young girls from the age of like 13 to 23 or something like that just thought he looked hot. She rolled her eyes at them. He was a great person, she had to admit it, but they didn't know who he was and just reduced him to a face. "Hey, I made it here. There's a lot of people," she texted him. "Awesome, you came. Where you at?" Annabeth took a picture of the masses of people that called themselves the Percy Jackson Fan Club, or the Waivers, which, to be honest, sounded dumb. "Hey, I found you!" called a voice coming from the ocean. Percy was walking towards her with his arms open wide. Thank goodness his fan base was preoccupied by the pictures that were being brought out as the surfers got out of the water so that they wouldn't be overrun by fans. "Hey, I decided to come without a book, believe it or not, so you better feel lucky," Annabeth called out, laughing. As he came closer, though, Annabeth retreated back, crossing her arms over her torso. "No hugs," she said, making Percy pout like a baby. "You're soaked in sea salt water," she laughed. "And because of that, no hugs?" Percy said, acting offended. Annabeth nodded her head, staying away from Percy, who was dripping water everywhere. "Dude, you did killer on that last wave. That was a good one," a voice loudly called. 3 guys that Annabeth recognized from class came running. One of them gave Percy a tight hug. He smiled at them, but then stuck his tongue out at her with a pointed look. "See, he's not scared to hug me." "Well, he's also wearing swim shorts, so I'm pretty sure this is a different situation." "Did you not bring swimwear to the beach?" "I did, just, underneath the t-shirt and shorts that would be drenched with water." The other 3 boys looked at Percy, eyes wide and mouths agape. Well, one of them looked more chill and less surprised. "You mind introducing us?" the one that had hugged Percy said with a sly smile. Percy gave them a pointed look. to which they snickered at. "This one's Leo, and he's the size of a mouse," Percy laughed. Leo acted dramatically offended. "Jason's the golden boy, blonde hair and all." Jason nodded with a smile, saying a small hello, and Annabeth replied back with a hi. This one Annabeth knew about. Piper really liked him. So since her best friend had been talking endlessly about him for a year at this point, she knew about this guy. He was nice and starting to talk more to Piper, more on his own terms, which meant more stories being repeated to her. "Last one's Grover. We've been friends since before I learned how to swim," Percy said, pointing to the redhead. "Nice to meet you guys," Annabeth said with a bright smile. "Nice to meet you too. Would you like to come join us in the watchtower and watch Percy surf from there?" Leo quickly added the last question with a knowing smirk. Or more like a he thought he did something or like knew something kind of smirk. "Oh, I don't want to intrude," Annabeth laughed, feeling a little bit awkward. That was weird. Grover shook his head and smiled kindly, less planningly than Leo did. "No, it's okay. We had a friend that was gonna watch, but he couldn't make it, so why waste a seat in the tower?" Annabeth thought over it for a second. As long as it won't bother you guys." "Sure." She got up when everyone unanimously said that she'd be fine. Getting up, Jason had swooped down to fold her towel, before she can even say that she got it covered, and handed it to Percy, who led her to the tower. Sitting down between Leo and Grover, Percy waved goodbye and left. Leo looked rather mischievous. Why did she get the feeling that she was about to get interrogated?